Hi, thanks for joining me today. Do you want to keep your relationship good, strong and happy, and yet still be able to talk to them about difficult stuff around step parenting and step families? Subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell, and I'll let you know every time I post. Your partner can begin to think that you're quite happy to sort of take on the role of the other parent full time and leave you to babysit or do errands or run people places or look after things or manage things or organise things or plan things. And it can all just get too much. You can feel as though you're losing yourself. And your partner can be very unresponsive to this. Once you're settled in the family unit, it can seem like, well, what's the matter? You just carry on as if you were the other parent, even though you're not. And this can build resentment. Often it's really difficult to talk to your partner about this. And often the person that you need to speak to most about this and who is inclined to take you most for granted is your partner, who is the parent of the children and therefore doesn't have the same problems. And it can be difficult because you don't want to let your partner down. You're wanting to have a good relationship. You have a good relationship and you don't want to spoil it with not wanting to do things and being objectionable. The two strategies best to deal with it are assertiveness with your partner and self-nurture. And that is to look after yourself sufficiently so you're okay. I've talked about that quite a lot in the past, but today I want to talk about assertiveness with your partner. Now, assertiveness comes in for a bad press. Often people confuse it with aggression or aggressiveness, where you're stating your claim and having an argument and equalising things by rebalancing stuff, but you've got to have an argument to do it. And I argue with that assumption because assertiveness is something that does level the score. It does keep things balanced, but it is not aggression. You don't have to have an argument in order to be assertive. And being assertive is essential because if we're not assertive, then we're very likely to be put down. And in a step family, that's very easy to do because everything's going on around us and you just sort of fit in. And if you're the kind of person who wants to smooth everything over and make things go well and not complain, then you can be overlooked. And that's not right because in the end, the resentment will grow and grow. And this is your life. And if you don't equal the balance, then no one's going to do it for you. So assertiveness skills are important and they don't need to be aggressive. I would say that one of the best ways to become more assertive is to buy books and read about it and then experiment and implement what might work for you. There are some fantastic books out there about how to say no, how to complain, how to have difficult conversations. Google any of those type of titles and you'll come up with a host of kind of literature that you can dip in and out of and learn from. A couple that I think are really good is stuff about NLP, which is neuro-linguistic programming. And that's all about dissecting conversations down into little parts and seeing what we're doing. So for example, you can analyse what your partner does when they argue, and then you can analyse how you argue, and then you can see what the difference is and do it differently. There are lots of little techniques for looking at things in different ways, and they can help enormously. Let me just give you one example where you're talking about things like chunking down and chunking up, whereby if your partner always goes to the detail and sort of gets involved in who said what to whom, and then you can sort of chunk it up by looking at the broader picture. If, on the other hand, your partner looks at the broader picture all the time and makes grand sweeping statements, then maybe you can hone it down and look at the detail, and that'll help you through the argument. It's things like that and techniques that you need to learn in order to level the score. The other one are the mind gym books. There are some on different topics, but the Make Up Your Mind one is brilliant at looking at having difficult conversations, how to broach them, how to set up the context, how to understand people's motivations for communicating the way they do, understanding how you need to be specific, and how to not criticise the person, but criticise someone's actions. So it's not that they're a bad parent, but only that they're letting their children get away with breaking rules without consequence. So you're sort of learning how to address these problems in the moment. And that's the most useful thing you can do when you're talking to your partner, because you don't want to damage your relationship with him. You don't want to fall out. You want to keep on having this good and happy relationship as much as you can. But it's jolly difficult when there are children there to challenge you. And so learning these little techniques one at a time can help you be assertive and get your partner and you to work together instead of apart. We run workshops, sessions, write booklets, and have an email response service. You can find links to our social media and website in the description box below.